our first response sheet, and Miss Rao asked her class to make models of the solar system. And we see on the board the 3 student understandings, right? They have student 1, student 2, student 3. As a class, put your hand up if you think that student 1 is a model, is an example of a model. Okay, I like the risk takers. We got 1 here, and are you changing your mind? Are you 1? You think it is? Okay, student 2. How many of you think that's an example of a model? Okay, and student 3. How many of you think that that is an example of a model? Okay, so who would like to explain their reasoning why? Actually, why don't you tell us what? Because you said student 1. Why were you thinking that that's a model?
The sun is a model because it may not be a picture, but 1 second.
Okay.
It shows the line of the planets and how far away they are from the sun. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and Pluto is furthest.
Okay, so those of you that didn't think that was a model, can you explain why? Could somebody give an explanation? Why did you think it wasn't?
Because those words, even though they do represent the planets, they aren't based on any evidence. There's no evidence to prove that they're based on
Okay,
planets.
all right. And what were you thinking, Aiden?
My dad in his office has like model cars of his cars that he used to have, and like models of like a car that a new company's making. They just like they don't like just like put down all the features like powerful lights or good seats. They don't put stuff down like that. They actually draw it and put it down.
Okay,
So they're missing the drawing.
Okay, so the drawing piece of it, well, when we look back at student 2, that drawing does have, it has drawing without words, and then student 3, it has more detail and it has words as well. So, and it looks like most of you all thought student 2 and 3 had models. It was just the question of whether we would include 1 as models. So, how did you define model? And did you, raise your hand if you did use model as one of your vocabulary words in your response.
Well, I actually used a conceptual model.
Okay, you used that one specifically. Okay, so who would like to define what you wrote for what model means? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say I knew it wasn't student 1
Why?
because that's not what space looks like.
Oh, okay, so looking like, since that whole idea of black box, you wanted to see more information. So how did you define model in your response? Can you read what you wrote? Nice and loud.
I did a small or big design that looks exactly like the original product.
Okay, so the real one, and you're saying it could be larger or smaller, the model that represents it. Okay, so that representation. How many of you did use the word represent something that, you know, we might not be able to observe directly? Okay, cool. All right, so which model did you think was the best? How many chose 1? How many chose 2? Yeah, you chose 2?
Oh, I know. Remember.
Okay, just checking. Okay, you kind of had the old, what's that called again?
Dab.
Yeah, the dab, because he was ready to give it. But, okay, is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of you chose 3? Okay, so why? Do you want to say why, since you were so excited to dab on it?
Yeah. Student 3, it's because he or she has the whole solar system, the planets, how close to the sun and how far away from the sun it is, and also like how big the constellation is around the sun.
Okay. So yeah, that they have the orbital paths, lots of information to really show a deeper understanding, right? So, did anybody have a powerful real world connection? I thought Aiden's example was really good. I don't know is that the one you used? Or you just thought of it when you were talking about your dad's office?
Yeah.
Is that your connection?
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't my action connection.
No? Okay. But that was a really
Just
good
saying
one.
how, like, if there was a test, how they would be graded. That's how I wrote it down. But
Oh, interesting. Okay, for connection. What'd you have, Dan?
Like if someone rides their bike down a hill. it just, if you don't hit the brakes at all and not try and slow down, it keeps pulling you faster and faster.
Okay. All right. So how is that connected to model? Because that's what you want to do. You want to give an example of a connection that relates to the topic. Does it relate? Okay. Can you give me one that would? Okay. What did you have?
I put like presenters for something like a business. If they're showing like a model of something, sometimes they don't represent it enough for people to understand.
Okay. And then let's go back to yours, because based on what you were saying, you reminded me of the conceptual model. You defined that. So what would that be?
The definition or
Yeah.
my example?
Yeah. What is conceptual?
A conceptual model is a model which is a representation of something that is in a person's mind on paper or digital.
Cool. Did anybody use physical model for their definition in their answer? And what did you have? What was physical model?
Physical model is like a three-dimensional model that you can build and touch.
Cool. Yep. You're getting it. You guys are doing good. What was your example? Last thing
My
before we
example
wrap.
was I was building a house over the summer. I first started with a list of components, then a drawing, then I did a 3D model, and then I 3D printed it.
Excellent. And you 3D printed it. And do you have it that you could bring it in and share?
Well, it's not glued together, so I wouldn't be able to because all the parts would fall off.
Bring it. Let's set it up and let's get a picture and we'll post it so that we can share that later.
No, like it's built out of like it's really fragile, so I don't know if I'll be able to bring it in. I
Okay.
can get a picture of the computer model.
Okay. Cool. All right. Great job today.